to go ahead and download that. Oh, my bad. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had it on mute. All right, let me do it again. Hold on 1 second. Let me change the screen. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me get the 2017 form anyways, because I don't think a 2018 form is out. Let's do this one right here, 2 months ago. Okay. Not how you do your
form so that your employer.
Okay, hold on. Let me back this up. Not how to do not how to do your taxes, but how to properly complete your W-4. So now in reference to taxes, what I'm going to show you is how you can capture your income and expenses using the software, the cash flow manager software. So hi everybody, this is Monica Lamb, and I'm going to play. I'm a little early. I was supposed to start at 6, but I thought I'll let June do some preliminary training for me before I go into the myEcon back office and just play the video for the W-4 and then play the video for the cash flow manager. So I'm gonna let this play so y'all can just tune in and listen in and do whatever it is you're doing. I'm just gonna let this play through because there's no need of me repeating what he says. He's gonna hit it right on the nail. And even though it's 2018 coming in, just pay attention to the ideology behind it or the methodology behind the reason the W-4 was created. So here we go.
Hello, my name is June Collier, Executive Vice President with myEcon. In this video, we're going to talk about increasing your cash flow via withholding. Now, one of the quickest and easiest ways for most associates to increase their cash flow is to adjust their W-4. Adjusting your W-4 can provide immediate cash flow for investing, debt elimination, or lifestyle. You can make the changes to your W-4 using the paper form or by using the IRS's electronic withholding calculator on the IRS website. Watching this entire video on completing the W-4 before you attempt to complete the form may be beneficial. Read the form, fill in the required info, and turn it into your employer's HR department. If you need help, ask your upline EVP or your personal tax professional. Now, just putting 10 or exempt on the W-4 is not wise or legal. The main objective is to break even with the IRS at the end of each tax year. Let's now take a look at how to complete the Form W-4. The Form W-4 is an IRS form you complete to let your employer know how much money to withhold from your paycheck for federal taxes. Accurately completing your Form W-4 can ensure you don't have a big balance due at tax time. It can also prevent you from overpaying your taxes, putting more money in your pocket during the year. The Form W-4 is based on the idea of allowances. The more allowances you claim, the less money your employer will withhold for taxes. The IRS states that over 80% of taxpayers have too much money withheld from their paychecks. In this training, you will learn how to properly complete your Form W-4 so that you get back money that you may possibly be overpaying on a monthly basis. Let's first take a look at the purpose of the W-4.
You want to put on the computer,
Purpose. Complete Form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new Form W-4 each year and when your personal or financial situation changes. What this is saying is that it is your responsibility to completely fill out this form so that your employer can take out the correct amount of taxes from your pay. It is also saying that you should review your Form W-4 at least once a year, and you have the right to change this form anytime your financial situation changes. This is a big reason why most people are overpaying in taxes. They completed this form when they first started their job, and have not looked at this form since then. Imagine if they have been on their jobs 10 years. Do you think they have had some financial changes in their life? Absolutely. Let's scroll down to the personal allowances worksheet. Form W-4 is also known as Employees Withholding Allowance Certificate and includes a series of worksheets you can use to calculate the appropriate number of allowances to claim. Let's go through each line on this worksheet to determine how our calculations will work. We will use an imaginary person to calculate the allowances. Susan is a single mother with 2 children. Susan has 1 job and earns $65,000 per year and spends $4,800 a year in daycare. Susan recently decided to start a home-based business in myEcon. Line A, enter 1 for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. Susan enters 1. Line B, enter 1 if you are single and have only 1 job, or you are married, have only 1 job, and your spouse does not work, or your wages from a second job, or your spouse's wages, or total of both, are $1,500 or less. Susan is single with 1 job. Susan enters 1. Line C, enter 1 for your spouse, but you may choose to enter 0 if you are married and have either a working spouse or more than 1 job. Entering 0 may help you avoid having too little tax withheld. Susan is single, so Susan enters 0. Now, had Susan been married, she would have had the choice to enter 0 or 1. How does she decide? We always believe in getting your allowances if you have the option to take them, which you do in this case. However, if you are in question, the document states to enter 0 to avoid having too little taxes withheld. If last year you received a refund back from the IRS, you did not have too little withheld. You had too much, so you would enter 1. Line D, enter the number of dependents other than your spouse or yourself you will claim on your tax return. Susan has 2 dependents. Susan enters 2. Line E, enter 1 if you will file as head of household on your tax return. See conditions on the head of household above. Let's look at the conditions of head of household to see if Susan can claim head of household. Head of household. Generally, you can claim head of household filing status on your tax return only if you are unmarried and pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for yourself and your dependents or other qualifying individuals. See publication 501, exemptions, standard deduction, and filing information for information. Susan is single and she pays more than 50% of the cost of keeping a home for herself and her 2 dependent children. Susan can claim head of household. Susan enters 1 on line E. A person who is married, separated, not divorced, and who does not pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for themselves and their dependent cannot claim head of household. This includes individuals paying child support. Line F. Enter 1 if you have at least $2,000 of child or dependent care expenses for which you plan to claim a credit. Note, do not include child support payments. See publication 503, Child and Dependent Care Expenses for details. Susan pays $4,800 in child care. Susan enters 1 on line F. Line G, child tax credit, including additional child tax credit. See publication 972, child tax credit, for more information. If your total income will be less than $70,000, $100,000 if married, enter 2 for each eligible child, then less 1 if you have 2 to 4 eligible children, or less 2 if you have 5 or more eligible children. Susan is single and earns $65,000. She has 2 children, so she gets 2 for each child. 2 times 2 is 4. Because Susan has 2 eligible children, she has to subtract 1 from 4, which leaves her with 3. Susan enters 3 on line G. If Susan were married or earned more income, she still might be eligible for a child tax credit allowance. It's just it would not be as much.
It's got my name on it?
Line H. Add lines A through G and enter the total here. Note, this may be different from the number of exemptions you claim on your tax return.
Like to jump on.
Susan adds lines A through G and comes up with 9.
I end up having to set
Susan enters 9 on line H. Notice the difference between allowances and exemptions.
Oh, my bad.
On Susan's tax return, she will only be able to list herself and 2 children as exemptions. That's a total of 3. However, on her Form W-4, she qualifies for 9 allowances. Another reason many taxpayers overpay in taxes is because they do not read this form and instead list their exemptions instead of allowances. The paragraph below line H states, if you plan to itemize or claim adjustments to income and want to reduce your withholding, see the deduction and adjustment worksheet on page 2. If you are single and have more than one job or are married and you and your spouse both work and the combined earnings from all jobs exceed $50,000, $20,000 if married, see the 2 earners multiple jobs worksheet on page 2 to avoid having too little tax withheld. If neither of the above situation applies, stop here and enter the number from line H on line 5 of Form W-4 below. Susan is single with 1 job and will take the standard deduction instead of itemizing. In most cases, she would stop here and claim 9 on line 5 of the Form W-4. However, because Susan decided to start a business with myEcon, Susan now has the option to claim adjustments. Let's take a look at page 2 of the Form W-4. At the top section, we find the deductions and adjustment worksheet. There's a note that reads, use this worksheet only if you plan to itemize deductions or claim certain credits or adjustments to income.
All right, guys, this is the portion right here, owning a home-based business. This is where you benefit. This is the second page to the W-4. Many of you guys probably have worked the job and they've only given you page 1, is what June just explained. But there is a page 2 to the W-4, and those who own businesses or those who actively participate in itemized deductions come tax at the end of the year tax time. This is where you benefit, and this is where the income shifting comes into play to help you out. When we talk about getting more back in your paycheck, this is where it comes from.
Susan has started a business with myEcon, so she plans to claim adjustments to income based on the business expense deductions she plans to claim in her business. Line 1 reads, enter an estimate of your 2017 itemized deductions. These include qualifying home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, state and local taxes, medical expenses in excess of 10% of your income, and miscellaneous deductions. For 2017, you may have to reduce your itemized deductions if your income is over $313,800 and you're married filing jointly, or you're a qualifying widow, $287,650 if you are head of household, $261,500 if you're single, not head of household, and not a qualifying widow, or $156,900 if you're married filing separately. See publication 505 for details. Susan does not plan to itemize deductions, so she will put a 0 here. However, if Susan had itemized in her previous years, she could get her last year's tax return and look at Schedule A and enter the total itemized deductions found on line 29 of Schedule A. Let's look at line 2. Enter $12,700 if married filing jointly or qualifying widower, $9,350 if head of household, $6,350 if single or married filing separately. Susan is filing head of household, so she enters $9,350. Line 3, subtract line 2 from line 1. If 0 or less, enter 0. Since line 1 is 0, if you subtract 9,350, you will get a negative number, negative 9,350. Since this is less than 0, Susan will enter 0. Line 4, enter an estimate of your 2017 adjustments to income and any additional standard deduction. See publication 505. This is where Susan will enter adjustments to income based on business expenses she expects to incur for being in business. Because this is Susan's first year in business, we're going to make a conservative estimate of $4,050. Susan will enter $4,050. As Susan begins to track her expenses, she can always come back and adjust this number if $4,050 is too conservative of a number. As of year 2017, every $4,050 allows you one additional allowance.
So pay attention to that line 4. If you've been itemizing deductions in the past, then you can actually get this number, this line 4 number, from your previous tax returns in the itemized deduction column. I want to say it's on line 40 on your previous tax returns. And you could use that number if you're someone who's used to itemizing, you're pretty consistent every year, you know kind of what your expenses are going to be. You could put that number there. I'm always playing it safe, especially if it's a new marketing director that's joining myEcon. I always just have them put $4,050. It's their first year, making sure that they can actually achieve the itemized deduction of $4,050, and then showing them how that number can be very easy. Now, if you get more, that is great. And then at least the first year, you have an understanding of how it all works, instead of trying to put something more than what you may not be able to get and then get yourself in a situation.
Line 5, add lines 3 and 4 and enter the total. 0 plus 4,050 equals 4,050. Susan enters 4,050. Line 6, enter an estimate of your 2017 non-wage income, such as dividends or interest. Susan does not have any investments that will pay her dividends or interest, so she enters 0. Line 7, subtract line 6 from line 5. If 0 or less, enter 0. 4,050 minus 0 equals 4,050. Susan enters 4,050. Line 8, divide the amount on line 7 by 4,050 and enter the results here. Drop any fractions. 4,050 divided by 4,050 equals 1. Susan enters 1 on line 8. Line 9, enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet, line H, page 1. Susan goes to the front of the page and looks at line H and sees the number 9. Susan puts 9 on line 9. Line 10, add lines 8 and 9 and enter the total here. If you plan to use the 2 earners multiple jobs worksheet, also enter this total on line 1 below. Otherwise, stop here and enter this total on Form W4, line 5, page 1. Line 8 plus line 9 equals 10. Susan does not plan to use the 2 earners multiple jobs worksheet, so she puts 10 on line 5 of page 1. Next, Susan fills out all of her contact information and separates the bottom portion and turns the employee withholding allowance certificate into her HR or human resources department. Some companies today now offer the ability to update your allowances online via a company HR portal. The objective to properly completing your Form W4 is to not owe the IRS at the end of the year and not to have the IRS owe you. If you are part of the 80% of taxpayers who have been getting back a refund, you can now get back cash on a monthly basis and use that cash to start helping you build personal financial success. This money can be used to pay off debt or fund your retirement account, or maybe you just need the money for your lifestyle. Either way, It's your money. Complete your Form W-4, and I wish you the best.
All right, so that was the W-4. So in myEcon, we talk about income shifting a lot. And so with what June just mentioned, once you adjust your W-4, you're going to have some extra money to be able to either pay off debt, that's income shifting, taking the money to pay off some of the credit card bills, car notes, house notes, loans or whatever you may have. But also you want to be able to use that money to invest. A lot of people are interested in Bitcoin. This is a way you can get some extra money to be able to do that. Whether you're interested in stocks, this is some money you can do that with, and where you could shift it. So for example, now everybody's not going to get $200 back in their paycheck. That's going to depend on what's being held before. If you've already been inflating your W-4, you may not get anything when you adjust it because you've already been getting your money throughout the year. So this next video I'm going to show you is very, very important to your business financial success, your personal financial success from a sole proprietor perspective. You have to start sustaining and maintaining that cash flow manager. And here it is.
Hello, this is June Collier, Executive Vice President with myEcon. In this video, we're going to cover the cash flow manager training. So we're here at myEcon website. We're going to go ahead and log in the back office. We've logged into the back office. There's a menu bar across the top, and we want to hover over Tools. And once we hover over Tools, we want to go down to where it says Cash Flow Manager.
Oh, wait a minute.
We'll click on Cash Flow Manager. Once we've clicked on Cash Flow Manager, you're going to have a blank Cash Flow Manager list. If you're brand new, you won't have anything here. And what you're going to have to do is create a new cash flow manager. You can have as many cash flow managers as you desire. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new cash flow manager by clicking this button. You have the option of selecting business or home. A home cash flow manager is for budgeting. If you want to create a home budget, you can use home here, and it tracks all of the personal expenses that you have in your home. However, in this example, we're going to select business so that we can track all of our business expenses. The next thing that you're going to need to do is give the cash flow manager a name. In this example, we call it a cash flow manager demo, but you can call it anything that you desire. So we're going to click Save File. Once we save that file, we're going to be taken to the cash flow manager dashboard. The first thing that we want to do is we want to enter in business expenses. The first business expense that you should have is the cost of actually entering into the myEcon business, the cost to get into the business. So we're going to click this green plus button here where it says enter new expense. And then we're going to hit our drop down here. And the drop down gives you all different types of categories for your business expense. So for this particular expense, we're going to select fees. The date is today. And then the amount, $179.95. Who did we pay that to? We paid that to myEcon. Or what is a myEcon enrollment fee? And then I placed the address where I paid that to. So I paid it to the myEcon corporate headquarters, so we used that address. And then I put in notes that this was a one-time enrollment fee to get started. Now, when you pay your amount to get started in myEcon, you should receive an email. What I like to do is I take my emails for anything that I spend, or when vendors send me receipts via email, I'll print that email as a PDF, and then I can upload the PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and choose File. I'll select this PDF here that I've already created. And then because I didn't use my card to enroll, I didn't go to a meeting. If you did go to a meeting, you want to log down what card you have. You got Automobile 1, Automobile 2, Automobile number 3. And if you went to a hotel meeting to see the presentation and then you signed up, you'll want to put in the business miles that you travel to the hotel and back to your home. But in this case, I signed up from home, so I'm going to just leave this blank. There's no recurrence expense here. This was a one-time expense. So we'll leave this blank as well. And then we'll just click Save Entry. Now, once we click Save Entry, we get our expense log. The expense log shows that we have already entered the expense. So we have $179 for the month of April so far. So for the month of April, we have $179 that we've actually spent as business deductions in our business. You'll see that it logs the date, the fees, the expense, who, what, and where. Those are important questions from the IRS that they want to know. So we list that information. Our notes, we did not have any automobile expenses. There's an attachment of our receipt. So that's how we enter that information in. Now, as a myEcon associate, you're going to have some recurring expenses. These are expenses that's going to happen on a monthly basis. So one of the expenses that you're going to have is you're going to have your membership fee, the financial membership fee that happens on a monthly basis. The next time that you're going to be charged that membership fee is 30 days from the date that you got started. So we got started April 13th. On May 13th, you're going to pay $34.95 as a monthly membership fee. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set that up, even though May isn't here yet. So we're going to go ahead and click on Enter New Expense. And we're just going to call this the Cash Flow Manager monthly fee. So the what is the Financial Success membership fee. Let me put that here. And the where is, again, we're paying this to myEcon, so I put their address there. And in the notes, this is our monthly membership fee. So we've got that in. Now, remember, we started this business on April 13th. So our first payment of $34.95 will not happen on April 13th. It'll actually happen on May 13th. So I'm going to click on the calendar. We're going to go over to May 13th, select that. So it's going to start on May 13th. And this recurs every month. So we're going to do a drop down of repeating this transaction on a monthly basis. We already are going to have it log in for May 13th. So the next entry will be June 13th. So we'll go here and find June 13th. And we're good to go. There was no mileage incurred. And we'll save the entry. Okay, so in this example, we have communications. We've listed $50 is on April 15th. Charter Communications is our internet service provider. I put internet here, the address of the Charter Communications. Notes is just internet service. I did not incur any mileage. However, it does recur once a month, same price. So we're listed for April. I'm going to go ahead and put this down as monthly. The next time that it's going to pay will be in May. So we'll go ahead and select May. And this was April 15th. We'll do May 15th. And then we'll save the entry. The date is April 13th. So that's why it doesn't show here. The expense occurs on April 15th. So you don't see that expense here. But let's go ahead and add one more recurring expense. A new expense. In this example, we do communications again. And this time we have T-Mobile as our provider. It's our cell phone, the address to the T-Mobile where we send our bill into, simply cell phone for business use. I did not incur any mileage. However, we do pay this on a monthly basis. So the next time that this will happen is 1 month from now. It is April 13th. So we will set our next recurring entry for May 13th. So we'll select that. And then we'll go ahead and click Save Entry. And now you will see that that did save here because we are on April 13th here. And you'll see that our grand total so far in business deductions that we have so far is $229.95. Now let's take a look at a few other things that we can actually do. Let's go ahead and click on Dashboard again. And this time, let's go ahead and another expense. We're going to go ahead and enter expense here. This time, we will enter in a meal expense. So we're going to go down here. And so here's something that you need to know. There's a meals and entertainment, a travel meals and entertainment. here's the difference. When you are around town in your local area, that's meals and entertainment. You receive a 50% write-off on your meals and entertainment. Another expense. We're going to go ahead traveling and out of town. Let's say you're going out of town, you're spending the night somewhere, and you eat. That would be considered travel meals and entertainment, which is 100% deductible. A meal expense. You see meals and entertainment here. And so here's something travel meals and entertainment. There's a meals and entertainment. Expenses. Travel so meals and entertainment. For right now, we're going to select meals and entertainment. When you are around town, let's just say your local area, meal was $50. That's meals and entertainment. You receive a 50% write-off on meals and entertainment. Meal. Longhorns. What? We'll put down here business lunch. Where? So we got Longhorns as where we ate. It's business lunch. The where is 345 Longhorn Drive. And then in the notes, showed business opportunity to Paul Harvey. So this is a great place to put the person's name if you had lunch with this individual. The next thing that we're going to do is take a picture of the receipt if you're using your phone. You can choose to upload it if you scan it on a computer. But if this is on your phone, this is where you can actually take a picture of your receipt and upload it automatically. The other thing that we want to put here is that it took some mileage to get to the restaurant and back home. So let's say that the car had the beginning mileage of 30,000 miles. We went to the restaurant and then we came back home and we looked at the odometer. It was 30,050 miles. So we know that 50 miles of that was business miles. All of that was business miles. Now, is this a recurring expense? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save the entry. So now what we have is we have a grand total of $304 that we've spent so far. We have grand total of business miles to be 50 business miles. So you can see that we've got some things that's going. Now, what if there is an expense that is not listed in our drop down? If we click on enter new expense and there's not an expense that's listed in the drop down, you can always create a custom expense. So I'm going to create a custom expense. You click on create custom expense, go here to create new. And let's just say I'm going to put down here haircut. Not saying that that's an expense or not, but I'm just going to do that. So now we've got that. So now we can go back to the dashboard, enter a new expense. We can hit our drop down and we see haircut in the expense type. So you can create custom expenses if you choose to create custom expenses. All right, so let's take a look at the dashboard again. We can also enter income. So if you make some money in the business, you'll want to enter some income. And it says select income type. This would be a commission. Let's just say that you receive your $1,000 bonus. Who? You got a bonus from myEcon. And we'll put down builder bonus. Where it was sent to your home. So we'll put down your home. And then notes. Okay. And then sometimes what I like to do is I like to upload an image of the check. But now we have direct deposit, so you don't have that luxury. So you don't have to do anything here. Now, this isn't a, well, hopefully it is a recurring expense or a recurring thing that happens, but this isn't going to happen on a set date like this. So we'll leave this blank and then we'll click Save Entry. So now you've got commissions. You've got commissions here. You got your grand total expense. So you've got a lot of things that's going on now at this point. Now, what you can do is you can also take a look at some of your reports. So you can categorize your reports. And what that's going to do is it's going to put all of your expenses in a category. So you'll see all of our commissions are here. Our communication expenses are here. Our total fees, meals and entertainment. So it categorizes this. So the more that you do it, the more that you'll see the categorized expenses. Also, if I want to look at the mileage log, I can click on mileage log and it's going to show me what mileage I have. So this keeps track of our mileage log. We'll go ahead and click close and return to expense log. The other thing that I can look at is my profit and loss. So if I take a look at my profit and loss year to date, this shows me that I've earned $1,000. It also shows me my expenses, and it shows me my net cash flow to be $645. So I'm positive $645 so far in my business. I'll close this and return back. Okay, let's scroll down. Go back to dashboard. We can view and edit income or view and edit expenses. That will show all of our expenses. Here under preferences, we can select what we want to see. We can see income year to date. As soon as we open up the cash flow manager, these are the views that we can select. We'll go back to the dashboard, and we have unassigned receipts. This is when you upload receipts and you don't assign them to any particular expense. They'll sit in this folder called unassigned receipts. So that's the cash flow manager. Now, in order to use the mobile app, you'll come over here to mobile. We've got instructions on mobile. On your mobile phone, all you do is open up your browser on your mobile phone, go to this website, log in. And then if you want to create it as a shortcut, what you want to do is you want to bookmark this on your browser. Your browser on your mobile phone will have a bookmark feature. If you bookmark it, it will look like an app. It will actually create an icon.
Well, right now we actually have an app in myEcon. I'm gonna let me actually go to my myEcon page. If you have a question so far, let me know. I'm gonna okay. So when you first sign up to myEcon as a marketing director, or let's say I was getting ready to sign someone up, I would actually use my myEcon website. So this molam is my username, and then .myecon.net. This is the site that you want to send your new potential marketing directors. Then they will click on join now. Once they click on join now, they should get a page that's saying welcome to myEcon online enrollment. Then they want to click get started. Once they click get started is where they're gonna see your name as a sponsor. This is how they would know they have the right person that they're signing up under. You don't want to give your marketing directors my link, because you can go ahead. Because if you give them my link, then they will be my personal sponsor. You want them to come, you want to give them your link, right? Now, I must say this, if you're a marketing director, your first 2 people that you sign up will go to the person who sponsored you, right? So right now, at the $9.95 rate, I got to see how much it is, but when it goes back tomorrow to the $34.95, you would actually get for your first 2 people, you would actually get $10, and the person who sponsored you would get $25. On your third person, you would actually get the $35 for personally sponsor someone. But I'll show you that on the compensation page, right? So when you give that person your link, they will see your name, and then they would hit continue. When they hit continue, and they fill out this form, they can fill it out 2 ways. Either they can put this myEcon business under their social, or maybe they have an EIN number acting as a sole proprietor and they put it under their EIN number. However, either or, you can't do both. You can do either put it under your social, or you can use your EIN number, but you don't have to. It's not if you only have myEcon as a business acting as a sole proprietor, then you could just use your social. You can put yourself in as a sole proprietor, whichever works for you, right? You don't have to put a spouse or a business partner, but if you choose to, their information go here. And then you will put your mailing address and your shipping address. If they're both the same, then you could just click the box that says both the same. If not, then you put, maybe you have a PO box and maybe you have a home address, however you want to do it. Just make sure you're consistent at what you do the first time. Then you have your phone number, your cell phone number, your email address. Keep in mind, whatever email address that you use, this is where your myEcon emails will go. As soon as that person enrolls, they will get about 5 to 8 emails. Welcome email with all of their information, as well as all of the Quickstart Orientation videos, 2 of which I just showed you, the W4, the Cash Flow Manager. They will also receive several other videos that has to do with their Quickstart. Will give you everything you need to know about joining myEcon and taking care and managing your business from an income shifting perspective. Keep in mind, myEcon doesn't sell products, it sells membership. So you're becoming a member, a financial success member, marketing director / financial success member of myEcon. And the perks, right now, it's only $9.95, and it's only until tonight at midnight. Right? So if someone was to join today, it's $9.95. And the perks to joining myEcon at the $9.95 rate or the $34.95 rate is the fact that you get income shifting strategies, which we taught you by using a W4. You get the cash flow manager system. You get identity theft protection, free and discount legal services, credit education services, discount travel and corporate perks. All of these amenities you receive by becoming a marketing director / my financial success member, right now. Many people have heard me say I have a coupon for anyone who wants to join right now. That's what this code is. So if someone gave you a coupon, let's say I gave you a coupon for $9.95, you would put in the code. That means when it was time to cash out, you would pay $0. I have a coupon for $25. When it goes back to the $34 plan, I give someone that code. Instead of them paying $34.95, they will pay $9.95. This is also an option. A personal financial success training manual is $24. If you want one of those, it comes with a nice embroidered 3-ring binder with the myEcon logo, but that's for $24.95 when you enroll. It's your choice. Now, keep in mind, this username that you put in this box right here is the same username they're going to use as your link later on. So you have to pay attention when you're actually signing up. You need to be writing this information down, right? You want to make sure that you keep up with it. Now, this is not the only time you're going to see it. Once you completed your enrollment form, you're paid, and they give you that congratulations, thanks for joining myEcon, it will give you a summary of all that information. If I was you, I would either print it off, I would screenshot it, or I'd take a picture and put it away because you'll need it again later. So this is if they're going to join, right? Now, on the live stream, I cannot show you, I can only show you so much. So let me see real quick. I'm going to log in really quick, and I'm just going to go straight to the Quickstart Orientation location of where you actually find your myEcon videos real quick. All of these videos are sent to you in an email. But once you log on for the first time in your business management system, I've been on it for a while, but if I click here, if you're logging on for the first time, this is probably what your screen is going to look like, right? Right here where you see Quickstart Orientation, all of these emails, these videos, all of these are videos. You will receive this in your email. So it's 2 places you can actually find this information. 1 in your back office, 2 in your emails as soon as they sign up. It's also on your app. There's a Quickstart location on your app that has these same videos. You want to make sure that you're looking and you're watching these videos. We even give you a little script on how to speak to people in reference to myEcon, give the pitch. What are some responses that may help with closing? Got what's called Pass and Peak, teach you how to contact your sponsor to help you in closing a deal with someone who wants to join myEcon, all that great stuff. So we don't leave you hanging. We give you everything you need for myEcon. It's just a matter of opening up the information, reading it, watching it, listening, and learning, and then staying plugged in on the conference calls to those who came before you, who push out information. This tax withholding one, this is what we just talked about in reference to W-4. That's a video. The tax record keeping, that's the cash flow manager. We just spoke about that. The strategies, I can't go into the back office. I have to do this on a private hangout. So I just wanted to show this one initially just to kind of get you started, because I know we had a lot of new people who just joined. But next Tuesday when I do this, I'm going to do it in a private YouTube, and then I'll be able to discuss a little bit more what's going on behind the scenes in myEcon, right? Documents, I just want to show you one more thing. On your app or on your phone, in the documentation, let's see, right here, minimizing taxes. You wanna download this document. Let me open this up. You want to download this document because if you want to understand business, this form, what everybody want to know, what's the benefits? What are the benefits? It's going to share with you. It is tax season. It's time to get this right. Or maybe you're just now joining. It's time for you to move forward in the right direction. The Schedule C is going to be your friend. At 1040 is what you file. And this is the tax training you just had on how to keep up with your income and expenses. This actual documentation will show you examples of the 1040, an example of how to complete your 1040. Let me go to the wording part of it. It's also going to show you examples of the Schedule C, but what I want to show you is right here. It's going to give you some scenarios and examples of each one of the expenses, each one of these common deductions that you can take advantage of, right? You want to download this form. I keep this form handy because it also has the regulation, the publication 463, travel, entertainment, gifts, and car expenses. It's got this nice little handout that myEcon put together, training manual. So any questions that you have in reference to your tax deductions is in this 42-page little PDF file, right? You want to make sure you have this handy, because as you go throughout the year, you're able to educate yourself on what we're saying and whether it's legit or not. So when someone says, is this a scam, or, you know, this is too good to be true, you can pull out this pamphlet and show them straight from the regulation. And this is why I love myEcon, because it gives you, it sets you up for success on being a business owner, but it also shows you how to sustain and maintain your actual business. So this form, I definitely want you to download. And if you want to understand the presentations, there's a high-speed presentation on here. The scissor call, if you want to send someone the scissor call. Let's see, let's listen to the scissor call. Uh-oh. See if it's gonna play. There we go. It's setting up. So you kind of get an idea what that is about.
Hello, and welcome to the Cash Flow Hotline. In this short message, I will ask an intriguing question and provide some potential answers. The question is, have you thought about the impact an additional $300 to $1,000 monthly could have on your lifestyle? Obviously, in the short term, it could mean some financial breathing room, a new car, a great vacation, or even a great savings account. In the long term, the possibilities are even greater. If you received an additional $1,000 monthly and invested it at 8% annual rate of return, in 15 years, you would have $350,000. And in 30 years, you would accumulate $1.5 million. Using an alternative strategy, you could even pay off a $200,000 30-year mortgage in just 10 years and 2 months. The possibilities are endless, and the impact could be life-changing. However, you might be thinking, that's great, but how am I going to get an additional $1,000 monthly without headaches or gimmicks? That's a great question. myEcon, a successful financial training company in Atlanta, Georgia, has helped thousands of people get their cash and turn it into great lifestyle choices. Some associates have even gone on to become millionaires. The company empowers people to get their cash by using 2 little-known cash flow strategies. The first strategy, modifying tax withholding, was discussed in a report by the IRS in 2005, which stated over 100 million employees have too much money taken from their paychecks for taxes. The IRS even stated that people would be better off modifying their withholding taxes to get the extra cash flow up front and use it for investing or debt elimination. The report was one of the most eye-opening documents ever distributed by the IRS. One multi-billion-dollar company even built a marketing campaign around the concept named Get Your Billions Back, America. The second strategy, income shifting, involves spending our money strategically to maximize our tax deductions. The concept is powerful because more tax deductions means less taxes and more take-home pay. The concept is also simple because millions of people have already done it in a small way without even thinking about it. When a person rents a house, the rent is not tax deductible. However, if that person begins to buy a house, some of the housing dollars become tax deductible. myEcon empowers associates to do income shifting quickly and inexpensively. We show our associates how to make hundreds of items partially tax deductible. The list is extensive, but just to name a few: personal vehicles, cell phones, internet access, travel, and expenses for children. The bottom line is, myEcon has helped thousands of people get their cash flow and financial dreams. Someone respected you enough to tell you about this hotline. Call them back and get more details on how to get your cash flow and financial dreams.
And that's the sister call. And you can send this, you can actually send this little clip to people for them to hear. And you can also send the opportunity video on your front page. You can send that to capture. I won't play the video, but anyways, you can actually send this and they can listen to it. It's only 3 minutes long, or you can let them listen to the Morning Money Show with Garfield. He talks about it all the time. Or you can invite them to one of the conference calls and listen to those who come before. Just kind of stay plugged in with the information. One of the most important benefits is what I showed you earlier, is the income shifting strategies of the W-4. And if you don't work in your own business, is having that cash flow manager, capturing your income and expenses throughout the year. So at the end of the year, you can take advantage of the tax deductions. Keeping your receipts. Let me show you an example of what your receipts should look like. When you because when you get into let me open up mine. To tax preparers, and you give them your information to file your taxes, then they're gonna want to see proof of your receipts. And I know many people go to tax preparers and they just prepare the taxes and they don't ask them for any of their receipts. You know, they don't really care, and that's fine and dandy. But don't come to Mo, because I don't do your taxes unless you got some proof. So let me just show, I'm going to show you an example of what your receipt should look like. Let me find one on here. Sometimes I write on these things. Let me see. Let's see. So when I click on the receipt and I open it up, show you a quick example. All right, so if you notice on this fuel receipt, I wrote down where I was coming from and where I went to. So that way if I brought my information, she's on the other side. I'm going to stay right here. When I send my information to the tax preparer, 131 this way, and then go that way, all the way to the end. When I give my stuff to the tax preparer, they can actually see these particular miles. They can actually go to the MapQuest and put in where I was coming from and where I was going, and then they can actually see, fact check me on my miles. So I'm trying to capture those business miles, and this is what you should be doing on your receipt. So this is just was for me to capture my mileage, some business mile. If you were eating and you wanted to capture meals and who you was with, then you would put what you were doing, business meeting, who you were with. You can date it. You can rewrite them out because meals paid, receipts paid. You can write the amount is here, so you'd be able to capture where you were, who you was with, and how much did it cost, right? So that's an example of what you do with your receipts. Now I like to use actual receipts. I try my best not to capture expenses that I can't prove, right? Let me show you another example. So I did some volunteer stuff. Where is it at? This is a sample that I use, and I try to use this to show people some different examples. Where is it at? Oh, it may not be in this one. Hold on, let me find one, because I'm always trying to show examples of how to use the cash, how to capture your income and expenses. Right here, I volunteered some time and did a flyer for somebody. I'm taking advantage of everything. I don't use anything for I don't take anything for granted. So I did this flyer. I wanted to prove that I did this flyer, and I wanted to capture my miles because I went somewhere to actually get that flyer done. So I took a picture of the flyer and I used it as proof, right, that I did the flyer, right? And the only thing I wanted to do was capture my miles. Everything you pretty much do should be some type of business. I'm sure you're volunteering all over. Remember you talked about the reoccurring expense? When you put the reoccurring expense, it's gonna pop up every month, because once you put your membership fee in and you put the date you want, it's gonna reoccur. All you have to do is hit confirm. It's gonna pop up for that month and hit save. You already have it, and it's gonna show the fees for the month, for the whole year. So you'll see all of these fees. All of that is a tax write-off, right? This is just an example cash flow manager I did. Okay, so I can't show too much in the back office. This is what they were talking about. You see the little mobile app? Click right here. This is our mobile app. This is our view. See, it's the same way as the desktop feature. And this is the GPS tracker. So you don't have to keep up with the miles on your own anymore. You can set your GPS tracker. Once you start doing business and you start taking advantage of this for yourself, it's going to be like clockwork. Every time you move that vehicle, unless you're going to your regular job, from home to your regular job and back home, those are not deductible. But any in and around mileage you do in reference to business, I would be setting that GPS tracker. I have an app that I already had before myEcon. Every time my vehicle moves, my GPS tracker tracks. All I have to do is go and put business or expense. Business or personal for the mileage, and it tells me how much I benefit. Like, do you know, let me open up that PDF again. Where's it at? Right here. You get, in 2016, it's the same for 2017 as well. It's 54 cents per mile for business. 54 cents per mile. So you do the math. How many miles you put on your car every year for business alone? I'll wait. That's for business. For charitable, how many people volunteer all the time? It's 14 cents per mile for charitable expense. And let me go to my slide presentation and get that info for you. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to show you the IRS regulation. Let me go to that screen right here. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, yeah. All right. So you can see the mileage. This is straight from the IRS regulation, right? And you could, here's the source on the bottom. So for 2016, it was 54 cents. 2017 is 53.5. So if you're filing your taxes this year, which is round up to 54%, that's how much you get per mile for business miles. Charitable miles, if you're doing any volunteering anywhere, you get 14 cents per mile. Medical move, if you had to go somewhere in reference to medical, 17 cents per mile. This is the regulation, y'all. I'm not making it up. Don't leave your money on the table. A lot of your exposable funds, money that you just, fly by day type deal, not really paying attention to, a lot of that money could be written off on your taxes. You just have to know how and when, and it is on your Schedule C if you own a home-based business. So many of you probably own a regular business, but it's not really benefiting you. It doesn't benefit you personally unless you filing as a sole proprietor. But if you're dealing with people, I would separate a regular business, LLC corporation. I would separate that from my personal, because you don't want to take on the liability, right? So myEcon gives, being an internet business, it gives you the opportunity to be able to take care of you on one end and the business on the other end. So as I posted the other day, your lifestyle becomes a business, right? So what are some reasons you can deduct these taxes? I mean, these miles. So here's the rule of thumb. If you're going from home, to a temporary work location, it's deductible. If you have a main job, if you have a second job or something of that nature, it's deductible. If you're going from that temporary work location to your regular job, that's deductible. If you're going from home to your regular job, it's never deductible. If you're going from your second job to home, it's never deductible. If it's going from your regular job to home, it's never deductible. But anything in and around locations that has to do with business, it is deductible. Let me say it again. If you're going from your regular job to home or your second job to home, then it is never deductible. If you go into any temporary work location, temporary place, you're meeting someone for dinner, lunch, and y'all talking about business, y'all doing business, then guess what? It is deductible. So keep that in mind in reference to your mileage. And this is in that handout that I showed you earlier. This is the app, right? All right, let me close this out. Minimize that. So make sure, and one last thing I'm going to show you, make sure that, let me go back here. In your back office, and you go to documents to keep you on task, what you need to be doing first, the first thing you need to do in myEcon is you need to print your Quickstart Orientation booklet, or you need to download it right here. It's been updated a couple days ago. Quickstart Orientation. So normally what I'll do is I'll put this in our group chat on myEcon. Let me download it because I'm going to send it today. And make sure that everybody has the updated version. Every now and then when they do updates, I go and I get it. So they've made some changes to the Quickstart Orientation booklet. And it tells you what's your first step. Correct your W-4. That's the video I showed earlier, right? Then your cash flow manager. That's the second video I showed earlier. Because if in order to maintain a successful business, you wanna be able to have good record keeping. Then the cash flow strategies. I'll show that next time because we won't have time today. Show you how to set up. You can go through it and you can watch the video. We have videos for everything on how to set up the strategies. Business income as well. Everything is in the back office to show you how you can make money in myEcon, how to come up with your list of 25 people that you can call and you can share this good news with, how to pass and peak. Got some scripts that you can learn. I used to read these over and over and over until I kind of got my own little lingo, right? And so on. So we kind of give you a little handout, keep you on point. And I like this. They got some questions and answers that you can respond to. These are some questions that people often ask. And here's a script on how to respond to those questions. And that's it. So if you're in our back office, our messenger group, I'll be posting this to the messenger group so you can have it. All right, so we got 17 minutes left, and I got to go into the government contract and training piece of it. So does anyone has any questions on myEcon? So again, when you first start, someone interested in myEcon, you send them your link for them to sign up when they want to sign up. Your link, not no one else's. And you want to make sure you're inviting them to the conference calls. You want to introduce them to the Facebook groups. And you definitely want to put them on the myEcon Facebook group, because Mondays and Wednesdays, June or Ivy will pop on there and share information, maybe good news. Right now, we blue streaking. It's the last night, $9.95. And then it's going to go back to $34.95. Every so often in the evenings, Dr. Bobo and Winter, they have conference calls. June has conference calls. Ivy has conference calls. So you will see us push the links out for June on Sundays. Dr. Bobo and Winter, you'll see us push those out Tuesdays. Ivy on Wednesdays. So you'll see us post Brian Bean live streams. And so we just stay connected with information. Get in where you fit in. If the information is available and it can help you, then I would listen in on it. Like, you want this information to be like clockwork, where you understand what's going on in your business, how to sustain and maintain from a personal perspective. This is really can set you off to a good start to starting any other business. That cash flow manager is phenomenal. There's a lot of people that don't have an accounting system that can account for their income and expenses. This is going to be a daily lifestyle. The more you hear about business, how to actually maneuver business, this is going to save you. This is worth $34.95 by itself. Everything else is going to come easy once you learn to save money and income shift. Move your money in places to eliminate debt, minimize taxes, gain more business residual income, and get more cash producing assets. That's stocks, bonds, real estate, IRAs, things that's going to give you a return on your investment. And then it's going to become easier. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to switch gears. So give me a minute. Log out of this. Let me see who popped into my Hangout. Let's see. Stop that for a second. Whoop. It's just me. All right. Give me a minute. Let me change out. I live in Alabama with myEcon. It is possible to get legal services from a law firm in this state. Is it possible to get legal services from a law firm in this state? The legal service, Yeah, the if you go, okay, let me share my screen again. Oh, I logged off. Let me log back on. Okay, right here. So you got Legal Club. Let me click on that. So to find out about legal services in your area, if you click on Legal Club right here, you get discount legal services. You can call this number and they will be able to connect you with an attorney that can help you for your state in your area. Right? So when you log on to your myEcon, you should, and here's your number. They may ask you for your member number, and then call that number, and they're open 8 a.m. and this is Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And they'll be able to help you in reference to your location. Let me see. You're welcome. All right, let me get out of this. Let me go to, all right. Give me a few seconds. Let me switch gears for a minute. Let me stop sharing for a second. And let me get my little PowerPoints together for this government contracting deal. Let's see. How's it going? All right, y'all. Hope I ain't boring you guys. Does the GPS tracker add to your cash flow manager automatically? Yes, it's gonna open up, and then you'd have to close out the actual transaction. So it's automatically in your cash flow manager. Let me see. Let me open this thing up. Cash flow manager. Give me 1 second. Let me do one. Do cash flow manager. GPS. Oh, nothing. GPS tracker. Okay. Let's see. Put in your speedometer. Start GPS tracker. All right. Boom. All right. So it starts. Then you stop it. You record it to the dashboard. Income expense. Stop. I'm gonna show you one. I'm gonna have to show you one. Then when I'm gonna have to show you how it works when I actually do it, so I can show you what that one looks like. Let me see something here. Give me a second, y'all. Gotta pull up my PowerPoint for my government contracting class. It's 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes. Mr. Grants. And I'm looking at the chat just in case y'all have another question. While I get these slides up and running, I should have already had them. I'm gonna go right into it. So I'm preparing for, since I already got my little live stream up, I'm just gonna go right into it. But normally I do this behind the scenes, but I'm just gonna show some preliminary info in reference to government contracting to start off. Let's see. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with the system. Cause I here we go. Yeah, this is the one I want to do. All right. Let me share my screen again. I'm gonna do present to everyone. Minimize this, minimize that. Open up this right here. All right, let me see if y'all can see it on the YouTube world. Let's see. Yep. All right, let me make sure. Let me make sure some people actually have this link. Now, start in about 4 minutes. Okay, let's see what I'm gonna do here. Don't need to be making all that noise.
Not gonna be able to do it. Not to.
Just come on being on loud. Give me a second. All right, so for those who have received the link, clearly you should be in a class, and this is gonna be, I'm gonna make this one, I'm gonna keep it open since I already have it open, and I'm gonna go through this because once I start getting into like some of the details information that I only want my team to have, then I'll close the Hangout. So in the future, I'll do myEcon, I'll shut off the live stream, and then I'll deal with only the people in the class. But I'm just gonna go ahead and give this one out since I've already done it on Black News 102. So here we go. All right, so if you're interested in government contracts, this is the information necessary to do business with the government, in particularly reselling tangible items, which you would know as drop shipping, or if you're doing any service contracts. So here we go. You must have a company that's the name of that's unique to you, your company. The email address, the address, and the phone number. Branding yourself is very important. Very, very, very important. You shouldn't have a company name is one thing and an email address is something else. It just doesn't go together. Make sure that this is synchronized, right? You want to make sure, because if you're going to do business with the government, you want them to take you serious, okay? I know you guys like to be very crafty and creative. However, this is business. This is not your social clubs. So if you're going to do business, regardless if it's with a corporate, if it's personal to personal, business to private sector, business to government, or just you in general, make sure you stay professional, because how you start is how you're going to sustain, right? Make sure wherever you want your mail to go, this drives me crazy right here. This top line drives me absolutely crazy. You start your business off in a very unbalanced and totally unsuccessful way. You have your email going to an address that you don't really check. You have your address going somewhere where you know you're gonna move the next day. I need you to mute your mic. Whoever just came on, please mute your mic. Mute your mic. And it's just totally not business-like. You want to make sure that you thoroughly think out your plan for business. Meaning, if you know that you don't want your business mail coming to your home address, then you need to open up a P.O. box. You need to have a physical location. If you live at home and you don't have a brick and mortar, and a P.O. box for your mail, right? It has to be on point, or you're not going to get taken serious. Your phone number. If you only have a cell phone and you don't have two cell phones, I suggest you get a Google voicemail or a Magic Jack, something that you can distinguish business calls from regular calls. I have a Google Voice, a Google phone number, and I use it for business. So I set the number in my phone as the business line. So when it rings, business line shows up, and then it asks who that person is and all of that great stuff, and it screens it. And the person can even text to that number. And so I can distinguish who I need to call back immediately based on business when they call that number. If you somehow got my personal number and I don't answer the phone line, it's probably because you shouldn't be calling my personal line. You should be calling business, right? Same thing. You guys got to start learning to separate personal from business. And one of the ways to do that is to get you a second phone line, or you can do what we did that's cost efficient, doesn't cost you anything, is to get a business a Google phone number or a Magic Jack or a board or something of that nature, right? Once you've decided all of this information, then you could file with the Secretary of State, right? You've already searched your name of your company. You know, no one else is using it, no copyright or trademark issues. You can go ahead and file with the Secretary of State in the state you want to do business. Now, a lot of people cross party lines. I'm not really interested in that. I can only pay attention to where I'm at unless I'm expanding business. We have several contracts out of state, but we started in the state of South Carolina first, right? So in the state in which you are, if you don't want to do business in your state, you want to cross where you are, make sure you understand business before you do that. I am not a firm, I don't agree with it, but a lot of people do, and I don't stop them from doing it. I just make sure that wherever you're located, you want to do business there, especially if you're new to business, you don't understand business. There's no reason for you to be filing in Delaware. You have no idea about Delaware or Wyoming or Texas or anywhere else. You should just file where you are until you understand business, or don't file at all. Because if you get caught up, you don't know what to tell the people, or you let someone else do it and they go ahead and they do that, then you're going to end up getting caught up in annual fees, filing fee, all kind of fees, and you ain't even going to understand it. So know where you're going to do business at, right? So if you're going to operate or do business in a state, you have to have a Secretary of State for that particular state, right? EIN number. And basically following what the Secretary of State says that you are able to do business in that state. Your EIN number. This is from the IRS. This is your number that identifies to pay taxes for your business, right? Any business entity can get an EIN number. Sole proprietor, LLC, corporation, S corp, C corp, partnership, all can have EIN numbers. Takes matter of 5 minutes, 5 seconds at the most for you to get that number. Keep in mind, once you get that document and you download it, I suggest you put it in an email, safeguard it, because you're not going to get another one. Right? And it takes you about 30 days. If you lose it, it's going to take you about 30 days to get another one from the IRS. So make sure you safeguard this and put this away, because you will need it later, especially if you want to do business with the government and you want to get certifications. These documents are very important. DUNS number. I'm gonna minimize my screen, and I'm actually gonna open up. Okay, you wanna play games now? Oh, you're seeing all my little business. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the website for the DUNS number, 123.dnb.com. Now, Dun & Bradstreet is not a government company. It is its own private company, but the government uses it to track business credit. And so everything is housed at Dun & Bradstreet. So when you first go to this website on YouTube, when you first go to this website, and you go to file for free DUNS number request, you click on the DUNS number. So you go to dnb.gov, right? You go to free DUNS number, you click on get started, right? And it's going to take you to this screen right here. Uh-oh, it's not sharing. Yep, okay, cool. All right, so you get to this screen right here, and you can click here, register for the DUNS number, or boom, you can click it right there. Or let me back up. Let me back it up. Right here, U.S. government contractor or guaranteed DUNS registration. Since you want to be doing business with the government, if you click on this one, you won't wait 30 days. This is going to take you. This is going to get you your DUNS number in about 24, 48 hours. It's going to redirect you. Boom. It's going to take you here to iUpdate Dun & Bradstreet. Let me show you that again, because I know somebody wasn't paying attention. www.dnb.com. Put your mouse over the DUNS number. Click on free DUNS number. Click on get started. Right here, U.S. government contractor or guaranteed DUNS number registration. You are acting as a government contractor. Cheryl says this a lot. This is what she's talking about right here. Right here. If you select any of the other ones, you're going to get a DUNS number. But it might take 30 days, right? So when you click here, say where you are, United States of America, hit continue, boom, it takes you to the screen. Continue to government, iUpdate. You go here. You would do this after you've already gotten an EIN number and your Secretary of State document. Right? This is where you would go. And the rest is history. You would go here, register, hit start now. Boom, you put in a business name. I'll just put one in so you can see how it actually works. City. State. Search. Company should come up. Boom. That's it right there. And I'm not going to go further, because if I do that, it's going to want to let me finish out the registration. If you've never done a DUNS number before with your company, then it won't show up here to the right. And then you would hit request DUNS number and keep it going. Okay. All right. So that was the DUNS number. That was this. Cage code. Cage code, you get that. That's the administrative data. That's where all your administrative information is housed for the government. And you get that by going to sams.gov. If I go too fast, let me know. Slow me down. If you're in the Hangout, just unmute your mic. Say, hey, Mo, you're moving too fast. Slow down. I have a question. And then I will stop and I will answer your question. So now, if you're going to get your, if you're going to get your cage code in SAMS, you want to hit create an account. After you go to sams.gov, this is where SAMS is very important if you're doing business with the government, especially once you start doing business and you're doing more business. If you don't update SAMS, it could come back to haunt you, right? So you want to register an entity. You got to create your name, your password. If you don't already have one, let me go back, right? Register. You want to go to individual, create an individual account. This is when you start putting your name, your company information on here. Uh-oh, let's see. That's some people talking in the back chat. Let's see. Did we get everybody in? Thanks, Sean, my helper. Okay, let me see who are. Let me make sure I got my peoples on here. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So you want to put your information. You want to make sure you save this information once you put it in the SAMS, because as I stated before, you're gonna it updates once a year. Now you're gonna notice once you get into Dun & Bradstreet and SAMS, you're gonna get all kind of junk spam mail. If it doesn't say Dun & Bradstreet don't send you out updates and ask you questions and all that extra stuff. They don't do that, right? But you're gonna get, they're gonna call you, they're gonna ask you to subscribe and tell you you're gonna get more, you can get contracts if you take their subscription, $99, $300, whatever. You don't have to do that. I done already done that before. You're not gonna get no much further by getting their subscription than you will if you didn't have it. So don't waste your time if you just learning if you just getting started in the governmental business, governmental contracting. Don't waste your time because you don't know enough to be wasting your money with somebody. Wait till you learn the game, and maybe if you need to get your credit history, your business credit history up, then you want to go ahead and you want to subscribe to Dun & Bradstreet, because it's going to serve you justice, because now you're doing big business. If you're just getting started, don't get those people your $300 or your $100 or whatever it is. You don't have to do that, right? Same thing with the SAMS registration. You're going to get emails. If it didn't come from sam.gov, it's not legit. So there's no reason to keep emailing Mo saying they say I got to update my registration. If you haven't been in SAMS a whole year, then you're not going to get any email from SAMS. If you see all these .com emails, it's people who are soliciting your service. Because once you get on these government sites, they're going to be privileged to just the minimum of your information, your company name, your phone number, that kind of thing, right? So they'll email you, and it's okay. Right? And so you just go through this. Now, the most important deal about being on SAMS is it has all the federal acquisition regulations, the changes, and all of that great stuff. Now, I think for at least one time in your life that you should at least review some of those federal regulations, just so you can have a kind of an idea of what they talk about. And at some point in this training, I'm probably going to go through it's gonna, that's right, Caesar. It's you should kind of get an understanding. Hold on, let me check my little Hangout folks and make sure they all right. Hold up, wait a minute. What y'all got going on in there? Y'all all right? All right. Yeah, right. Let's check it out. Okay. Let me see. So this is SAMS. As I stated, you need it. That's where they house all your administrative info. So let's say you got a government contract. You got one contract in January, and then you get another contract in March.
Hello?
Yes. Uh-oh, stand by.
Take it to
We can hear you. You got to mute. Okay, cool. And you get another contract in May. Well, what has to happen is you got to go and you only put, let's say you said when you first logged on to Sam's, you only made $10,000, zero for the other 3 years. Well, now if you're making more money, you got more contracts, you got to update that. Or let's say you join in January, in June, you get certified woman-owned business, you get certified 8 alpha. Then what has to happen is you have to go in Sam's and you got to make sure you put those certifications, because that's going to be important. If you get in a contract or you're interested in a contract and it's based on a certification, then they're going to go look at your Sam's registration to see if you actually updated that. You'll notice on the solicitations, it will ask you, do you have a certification? If it doesn't agree with Sam's, they're gonna take points off for your technical. That's how competitive it gets, right? And these are some of the certifications. Disabled, disadvantaged business owned. Disadvantaged business owned, the DBE is for those companies are minority owned, and a Caucasian woman can actually apply for that certification, right? So any minority other than a Caucasian male. Minority business, same thing. 8 alpha, anybody can apply. Any company can apply. Any small business company. This is like the top dog in the GSA. You get these two right here, you're gonna get contracts, hands down. The 8 alpha, you only can get 9 years. You only can stay in the program 9 years. You get a mentor and everything, and it's phenomenal. But keep in mind, you only get 9 years into the program. After the night, hopefully, if you've gotten contracts, you know how to budget and sustain your money. Because 9 out of 10, you're gonna go over out of the large business, out of the small category into large business. So hopefully if you've learned something in the 9 years and you could sustain and maintain business for the long haul, because the rest of these minority, some of these other ones may not apply anymore once you start making a certain dollar amount. The GSA, you get certified every 2 years. Within the first 2 years, you have to get at least gotten a contract, at least 25,000 or more, or you're gonna have to recertify because they're gonna kick you out the program off the schedule. Service disabled veteran owned small business is you have to be at least 10% service disabled connected by the VA in order to apply for this service disabled veteran certification. This is predominant with VA contracts. Woman disadvantaged owned small business or woman owned small businesses are for women. Capability statement. Right? The capability statement is a quick one-page snapshot of your company, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Business license for your county or your city. That if you are doing if your brick and mortar business is located in the city and you're generating revenue in the city, you need a city license. If your brick and mortar is in the county and it's not in the city, if it's in the county, then you need a county license. If you're generating business in the city, maybe you have a city contract with the city or something of nature, you're gonna need a city license. So if you're generating money or you're located in that area, you're gonna need that license. When in doubt, go to the business office and find out. Ask the question, and they will let you know. Question. General liability insurance. It's gonna depend on what type of business you have. I could tell you if you're doing business with the government, you gotta have it, right? Because 9 out of 10, even if you're solo and you're acting as a consultant, you're gonna need some general liability insurance or some professional insurance, because stuff happens, you get sued, they're gonna want their monies. You're gonna be liable. Retail license, if you're selling any type of products, tangible products in your hand, not internet sale to sale, you won't need no retail license. But if you have actual products that you're selling, then you're gonna need a retail license. And when in doubt, ask the Department of Revenue and they will let you know, right? Any questions so far? That's just A preliminary example, what you need to just do business with the government. Got to have the Secretary of State, got to have company name, address, and phone number, got to have your EIN, got to have a DUNS number, you got to have a cage code at a minimum, bottom line. You don't have to have a certification. However, it does help for set-aside contracts, and it makes it easier for you to win contracts. Do you need a capability statement? If you're going to market yourself, they ask for capability statements. That's your marketing to market into the government or any other organization, right? Any questions so far? Again, this is repeated. I talk about this every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I show that same slide till you get it and get it right. All right. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. What do I need to start getting myself together to do business with the government? You're going to need a technical proposal, past performance. The pricing sheet is given when you see the bid. The online federal acquisition regulation is what comes out of SAMS, and any certifications. That's in particular to what I just talked about from those entities who offer certifications, right? So your technical proposal, what does it need to look like? This is an example. Your cover sheet will have the name of your company, what type of bid you're going after, what type of services of that bid, solicitation number, and the response date. Your company logo, again, the company name, the address, location, email, phone number, how to be contacted. If you had a certification, you can list those numbers. Let me show you at this point. Yeah, let me show you at this point. All of this information right here comes from the actual solicitation. So let's go to the website. This is one of the websites you can use, fbo.gov. Oh. This is one of the websites you can use for looking for government contracts. And you can look for them a year out, 6 months out, whatever, right? You can look for it by location. I'll just put in location. You can do set aside type, which is the certifications I was talking about earlier. You can look for it by the different types of solicitations. We're just gonna say, let's do SOSART. SOSART means they're just looking for marketing. They're just trying to find out who's out there, who's interested. We're thinking about putting this solicitation out for a bid. Here's what it is. And I'm just gonna run it wide open on that. Oh, and they don't have any. Just trying to be smart. All right, so let's just do today. Let's just run it for the Carolinas. And let's run it for service disabled, and let's do a search. And they don't have any. I was looking for something, that's why I did that. So let's just do today. Let's do any state. Let's do a service disabled, and let's do a search. Here we go. Right? These are all of anybody who's service disabled who is looking for a government contract. These are the government contracts that are out. And when I say set aside, only people with this service disabled veteran certification can actually put in for these particular contracts that are on the list right now. Right? And it's like 4 pages worth. If I went back, you don't have to do a set aside, but let's just look for woman owned. So, woman owned. I'll just run it wide open. Oh, I didn't want to run 90 days though. Let me do just today. Let's do woman owned, all the states, and hit search, right? These are all the women owned contracts that are out there for people who are interested in women-owned businesses, certifications. And this is just some things that are out there that came out today. Is it limited to just today? No. This is just an example of today. Let's go back. Let's just leave it as is. Let's just do today, and let's just hit search. Right? So these are different. You could search these certifications by any type of service. Someone was going to ask a question. Any type of service, anything you're looking for in particular. Most people who get interested in government contracts already kind of got an idea of what type of service they want to offer the government. If they're doing drop shipping, normally they would kind of know what product that they want to drop ship with the government, or they want to look for if it's a service, if they're selling products, because it's all different types of things that are out there. Lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff. But what I want to show, I'm just going to pull one. Let me see. Let me go back. Let's just do janitorial real quick. I just want to be able to show you something. All right. So this is a contract, a couple contracts that's been awarded. Let's see who has not been awarded. Look like everybody been awarded. All right, let me just open one up. All right, so when I open up a solicitation, let's say I was interested in this solicitation right here. This is the type of service. That's my solicitation number, and that's who it's for. And the date, the response date is right here, that December the 6th, 2017 at 11. That's what I was talking about right here. That's where this information comes from, right? And it comes from right here, right? And the response date is the date that you put on that solicitation prior to going out. Now, here's where some people kind of get mixed up. If I was going to do, if I had a janitorial service and I wanted to do business with the government, and I kind of wanted my technical proposal to kind of be appealing to the government, when I click on the solicitation, I'm gonna show you something. Because the government only wants what it wants. You can have the best business, you got a nice little business plan, but if it's not familiar to what they want to do, this is a SF 1449. This is what every government or contracting package, right? It's pre-filled for everything it needs except for 17A is where your information go. And normally you sign it, you print your name, and you date it. The rest of it is normally already pre-filled in. This is a request for quote. Ooh, they got over on this one. You didn't even have to give up much. Request for quote, meaning they're just looking for quotes. Proposal, usually they want full out information about the business. This one, they probably just wanted the SF 1449 and for you to fill out that price sheet. So right here, when you look and see what the offer must provide with the quote, with your response right here, in this technical piece right here, and it says this information consists for the offer intent to approach to executing the contract. Submit this section should not exceed 5 pages in length, including resumes. That means whoever put this contract out is going straight to the point. They ain't even trying to get all this extra stuff that people give. Normally, when it's a request for proposal, it's at least 25 pages. That means they want details. This is just a quote. They straight up, straight down, straight to the point. This is what I'm looking for, right? No more than 5 pages. They want to know your equipment plan. The proposed equipment list should only include the equipment which will be used on this contract. Equipment list should be identified for the use of the roadways Include size, make, and model, and ownership of equipment. So this looked like it may have been like cleaning some streets and things like that. Then they want to know a staff plan. Proposed staff plans should include both numbers of personnel proposed and position titles. Resumes for proposed key personnel consisted of experience and other pertinent information, inclusive of superintendents, quality assurance inspectors, foremen, must also be submitted. Right here, it's letting you know right now in this proposal, when you give the resume, they're looking for who's going to work the contract and then who's the key personnel, and they want their resumes. In particularly, they're telling you, so even if these are not your titles, it's going to be their titles for this contract. A superintendent, a quality control inspector, and a foreman. They're pretty much telling you what to put in there. Sometimes people just be like, well, I already have a proposal and I'm not changing it. And guess what? You ain't going to win the contract. Don't worry about it. Your technical proposal because you didn't get them what they asked for, right? Your capabilities plan. The proposal's capabilities should include adequate documentation to illustrate the offerer's capabilities to successfully complete the work identified within the solicitation. Within the solicitation, they're telling you, right? That means in your plan, what you need to do, you need to go down through the solicitation before you even get to this part right here. Go down here, stroll down, and they're going to tell you exactly what they want. You get past this past performance piece. Right here, scope of work. So what you have to do, you got to stroll through here and you have to look to see what exactly do they want right here. And you have to include this, Christine. You got to include this information in your plan. And so you just read through it and see what they're looking for, which is not a whole lot. The who, what, when, why, and where. And it's all right there. So basically, when you're writing up a business plan, and particularly, boom, when you're writing up a business plan and you don't really have an idea of how to write one up or what you should include, you can come pull one of these solicitations and it'll tell you exactly what you should have as far as when it talks about services, how you should write up your services. And then you just tailor it. You have to tailor it to what they're looking for. And I know you're like, man, I don't want to read through all of this stuff. Well, if you want to do business with the government, you got to be meticulous. You got to write it up, right? So in this particular piece of and I'll break this down a little bit more. So this is just an overview because it's just day one in the 2018 year. But in a technical proposal, that's what they're pretty much looking for. Your capability statement. This is some examples of the capability statement. One-page capability statement. Who you are, how can I find you, what are your core competencies, what are your past performance, what makes you different, basically, if you got a certification or not, your NAICS codes, your DUNS number, your cage code, and how can we find you, and if you're on any other schedule. This is a sample on how that works. If you're not sure about your NAICS codes, if you're not sure about your NAICS codes, I'll show you those right now where you can find it. You can always go to Google, right? You can go to Google and you can put in NAICS code, and you should know your NAICS code. Bye. You can go, you should be able to benchmark this because as your business grows, maybe you want to add to it. This is the website. Let me benchmark that so I have to always keep Googling. How to find your NAICS code. You can put in a keyword search. So let's say cleaning. Hit submit. Boom. And it will tell you everything that has to do with cleaning. Now, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. When I first started helping people with businesses, I didn't list all of the different NAT codes involved with them cleaning, because they was doing pressure washing, it was cleaning cars, they were doing commercial, they were doing residential, they were doing all kinds of stuff. And I didn't realize, I think I had only even cleaning floors and things of that nature. And I left out, what did I leave out? This, I think I left out car wash, and I think I did janitorial services, and I didn't take in consideration there were other cleaning NAT codes, and I think I had left out car wash. I think this is what I left out. And when we bid it on a contract, and it was I think it was bush wash or something of that nature. Well, what happened was, because I left it out in the very beginning, it wasn't on our certifications that we had. And when you get certifications, they will award you based on your NAT codes, and they put that on your certification. So when we bid it on a contract, the company didn't want to give us the portion of the bid that was for for washing those buses. They only wanted to give it to us for pressure washing the building and cleaning the stops or whatever, but they didn't want to give it for us for the bus. So we had to find somebody else who had that NAT code. That was a terrible mistake on my part, because I didn't realize, I just took in consideration janitorial services as a whole. So now, if someone's looking for different codes, the same thing with transportation. Same thing happened with me with this one. Transportation, there's so many different transportations, and I think I had only put all supporting, what was it? Something. It was all ground transportation, I think it was. And I didn't realize this whole special needs transportation, that code, and also I think it was valley parking or something. When you first start doing business, you don't take in consideration all of this. And so now what I do, I make people just put in the catch word, which is, if it's just transportation, and say go down the entire list and find out everything that you're covering or you may want to cover in reference to transportation. Because once when you start going after certifications and you start going after government contracts in reference to that certification, they're only going to certify you for what you say you do. And if you miss something, you're going to have to go through that whole process again to prove that you're offering those services. And when you get to GSA, they always get a little tricky with that, because they'll make you prove invoices that you actually provide the service. And that's the NAT code. And so that's important here, because when you can let me get a NAT code off of here. Let me get that special needs NAT code. 485991. I'm gonna go back to this government contract and homepage. You could search, when you get familiar with your NAT codes, you could search government contracts by your NAT code, and it will give you all of the contracts in reference to this NAT code. Yep. Booyah. Right? And it makes it a little easy for you sometimes. So this should be one of the first things that you actually create as well. And if you don't have a whole lot of content to put on it in the beginning, you can always use pictures. My very first one, please, I had pictures. Pictures, company overview, pictures, the NAT code, cage code, DUNS number. I think we may have had one past performance, and logos. That's it. So it was very scarce. But as we went on, it started to fill up. But you got to start somewhere. Any questions so far? Then you have your past performance. If you're doing business, it's very important that you start learning contractual services. If you're doing business with someone, come up with a contract or something, especially if it's another business. You go clean another business, ask them, can I use you as a reference, a business reference? It's called past performance. When you start doing business with government, they're going to ask you for it. It doesn't really look good if you don't have no past performance, right? Especially when you're talking about service contracts, who they are, where they're located, how can they talk to them, what's the point of contact. If they don't have a contract number, you can put NA, how much was the contract, how long was the contract, and what type of work did you do for them. Very important. You want to make sure that you get in the habit of doing business references. When you do a good job, have somebody be able to vouch for you. You'll thank me later. If you start just doing work, going around, not gaining any relationships, getting that business reference from that person, and you really get the opportunity to do business with the government, you're going to wish you had gotten that, because it can knock you out of the running with somebody else as far as past performance is concerned. Pricing template, that comes from out of the solicitation. I'm going to teach you how to come up with your price. We just went to the website, talked about how to look for the contract. I won't go into details, not today. And okay, so Cheryl has a class on some details on how to get government contracting. I'll give more of the budget inside of it, how to price it, and we'll get into that. I just want to give you an overview, what you need to have right now. Janisa does how to get the documentations done. So if you're having a hard time with the proposal piece of it, Janisa teaches that in her class. She teaches the capability statement in her class, how to write up a job description. She teaches all that in her class. Right now, she's teaching the how to do business for the call center, how to get a call center started, or if you want to work for one. Okay, let me close out of this. Stop presenting, stop sharing. Oh, I didn't lose everybody. So far, I just want to give you just a quick overview of the government contract, and that's basically what you need to get started. You got to have a LLC corporation, filing as a corporation, and you got to make sure that you have your EIN, your DUNS, and your cage code. Because if you start searching for contracts and you don't have that information, you're going to do yourself an injustice, because it may take you longer than a week, even though sometimes it could take you 72 hours. Just depends on where you are. What I'm going to get into in the future, I'm going to recap. This budget piece is very, 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 very important. And you should always do yourself a budget when you're doing your contracts, because every contract is going to be different. Even if you're doing the call center, you have to break down a budget, because the money fluctuates, and depending on how it comes in is going to determine how much money you make and when you make that money, right? Initially, when you're doing contracts, sometimes you may not have enough on hand, especially if you're doing a service contract. You may not have enough on hand to pay your payroll. So that's why your credit is very important, because you may have to get a business loan, even if you're doing drop shipping. If you don't have money to cover, let's say you win an award, if you don't have any money to cover that drop shipping contract, or a credit card to cover that drop shipping contract, then guess what? You're going to need a business loan. And you can get a business loan based on the award, but guess what? They're going to ask you, what is your personal credit score? Even though you already won the award. You going to ask me a question, Chanel? Oh, you just unmuted your mic. Now she muted back.
Sorry.
Yeah. So even if you win the contract, they know you're gonna have money coming in. Guess what? They're still gonna ask, what's your personal credit score before they give you a business loan. Now the beauty of it, if your personal credit score is, is 630 or more, and you win a government contract, they're gonna give you the business loan because they already know you got money coming in, your credit is good. Boom, they're gonna get their money back. That's why we partner with Garfield in reference to the credit piece of it, because you could get a contract, and Chanel will tell you could get a contract or whatnot, but you got to have that capital. You want to shed some light on that, Chanel? Because you're in the game right now. You know about that dollar situation.
Yes. Well, you just want me to like kind of share about
just
my whole,
go ahead.
About my whole contract experience, or what piece of it you want? Where do you want me to start?
Share whatever aspect of it that you want without putting your personal business in the street. Just some do's and don'ts.
Okay, well, of course, I will say one don't. As you know, what I went through with one contract that I had, and it sounds real crazy, but it's the best piece of advice that someone gave me. I had an issue with one of my contracts, and like I said, I'm going to share this piece because it will overall help everyone. Is if you're not getting paid, then pull out of the contract ASAP. Even though you're under contract, I will say it.
You muted your mic. Did you mute by accident?
Yes, it's like it's automatically mute. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we heard pull out the contract.
Okay, yeah. Even though it may not sound that feasible, but it's best to pull out of the contract, because right now I'm actually going through a situation with a university where they stopped paying us. So what they did was took our contract from us and refused to pay us and we worked. So at any time you're not getting paid, regardless if they're telling you, well, it's slow processes here, it's slow processes there, et cetera, et cetera, I will always recommend to pull out of the contract if I'm not being paid. If you're not being paid. And it happened to me, so I know for a fact. Yes.
And you still had to pay those people wages.
Right. Because it's not their fault at the end of the day. So yeah, you're still responsible, of course, to hold up that end of the bargain with your employees. Mm-hmm. And another thing in regards to contracts is that, it's always good to have some other type of income until you can build yourself up, because with state contracts, they don't pay you like on time. So that's another challenge that I saw and I learned over time. You have to be ready for, if you do your invoice, especially if you're net 30. Yes, they have 30 days to pay you. So just make sure you have yourself financially fit in order to be able to deal with that time frame that it can take.
Absolutely. And in your first payment, unlike Chanel's situation, if you don't have a situation, that first payment could take 30 days. There's some instances where you can negotiate with the contractor for an advance prior to getting your award. So, but it's not many cases. But I do know some people who have gotten advances. If they're doing drop shipping, a lot of time it works with drop shipping. They'll get an advance on their award, and so then it'll be able to sustain them until. But sometimes the contractor will put in there that an advance is not an option. So can it happen? Yes. Does it happen? Yes. Does it happen often? No. Depends on the contractor, and that's why you gotta ask and read the solicitation.
And I have another. You can help me on this, and it just happened to me, and I don't really know how to feel about this situation, but actually, I was recently awarded a contract. I won the bid, However, once I won the bid, they asked for my financial statements for the last 3 years. Okay. After research or whatever, I know they can ask you for it, but do you have to give it to them?
Was it in the
ask you for it?
Was it in a solicitation? What company, if you mind me asking?
It was for Florence Darlington Tech College.
Was it
their cosmetology site?
Was it in a solicitation?
It was, but not where they clearly asked me for it. But let me tell you what happened, because it came out today. All right. They asked us after they asked me for so many pieces of documents. You know, I had to, you know, of course, then as like you said, they want to know past, you know, past experience. You know, I had everybody write all this. They got my references, et cetera, et cetera. Yep. Insurance information, yada, yada. Okay. So then they came back and asked me for 3 years of financial statements, right? Personal financial statements. And so once I basically we went back and forth, and, you know, it was respectable at the same time. I don't have to exactly give you this information. And after, like, I researched it and found out that they can ask you, but you really set yourself up if you give them that information.
Yeah, wow.
So they basically worded it to me that they want to make sure.
Hold on. All right, YouTube world, this is where I gotta cut y'all out because we about to get personal. So if you ain't on the hangout, you're really not privileged to much of our government contract info. I just kind of gave you all a little snippet because I was already live. But peace and love to everybody. If you have any questions, make sure you inbox me on the messenger. But at this point, I have to sign out on YouTube. So peace.